Okay guys, welcome to the Matchday -1 press conference for Ukraine with Shane Duffy and Stephen Kenny. Just be aware that we are translating the first two questions for the Ukrainian media, so be aware of that, which Tony will obviously ask. And then if you could just restrict yourselves to 2 questions each, because I'm aware that we need to get around everyone as much as possible. Tony, if you want to fire away, please.
Okay, thanks. Hi, Stephen.
Hi.
You mentioned before that this game will be remembered perhaps in 50 years' time, a long time. It is a very unusual game in the context of international football because of the political situation.
No, it is. It is a very unusual game, and it's the Ukrainian players and the coaches and all of the staff have been great ambassadors for their country, amidst the chaos of their lives and of their compatriots, really, and the thousands who have lost their lives. So by continuing to play, and they're bringing it to, they're keeping it at the forefront of the sort of whatever country they're playing within the media and within the European media, because obviously it's there's features across Europe on the Ukrainian team and their contribution and how they played and so forth in the games, and it just keeps the discussion very much to the forefront of the news.
Запитання було, ця гра запам'ятається багатьом своєю досить специфічною природою. Власне, запитання було до тренера, що він думає щодо цієї специфічності цього матчу. І тренер відповів, що це справді незвичайні обставини, які оточують цей матч. Гравці збірної України, тренери збірної України і всі, хто команду оточує, власне, постають великими і значними амбасадорами для своєї країни, яка зараз переживає надзвичайно складний час. Людей вбивають, руйнують інфраструктуру, і, власне, відбувається величезне горе саме в Україні. І саме тим, що українці продовжують грати, незважаючи на всю цю трагедію їхньої країни, виводить їх на перший план і становить їх в самому центрі уваги всіх світових медіа.
And Shane, can I ask you to put yourselves in the shoes of a Ukrainian player at the moment and what they've been going through and what they have to go through at the moment?
Yeah, really emotional for all of them. I think they've been really they should be really proud of how they handled themselves, especially over the last 2 games, carrying their country. And I think everyone was willing them in Europe and the world to try and get their World Cup. So I think they can be really proud of themselves and hold their heads up really high and keep going. So we know it's really emotional times for everyone there. So as I said, it'll be a special game tomorrow and one we're all really looking forward to.
Запитання було про емоційний стан української команди. Як гравці збірної Ірландії оцінюють цей емоційний стан? І відповідь була така, що, звичайно, українці виходять на поле з високо піднятими головами. І їхня впевненість в своїх силах, їхня гордість за свою країну, те, що, власне, зараз відбувається, накладає на них такий величезний якийсь емоційний стан і сприяє тому, що вони викладаються на 101% і просто намагаються вмерти на полі, вмерти за свою країну.
Please.
Hi, Stephen. Could you just update us with any injury news that you might have for tomorrow?
Yeah, Gavin Bazunu has he's gone back. He's left the camp now. So he just had a minor sort of rib fracture, very minor fracture, rib fracture. That's what that was. Seamus Coleman is ruled out through injury. He has a groin pubis issue, so he's ruled out again.
Is that out of him the other 2 games as well?
We'll have to see. No guarantees he'll feature in the other games. We'll see how it settles and make decision on that later in the week. We'll see how he goes. Hopefully he will be involved in the later games, but it's too early to say.
2 big games here in Dublin. It's a chance to put things right after what happened at the weekend. What do you want to see from your team that wasn't there?
Yeah, no, I think we're disappointed to lose in Armenia. You know, I think it's no getting away from that. I think, to be fair, we've the players have been on a good run of results recently, and they were unbeaten in 8, only 1 defeat in 12 going into that game. So it's one that we want to win, and you know, I don't think it's a game that we deserve to lose. Like, we hardly conceded any chances in the game, and we had a number of chances to score ourselves, but we know that we can play a lot better than we did overall, and it's one that we've left behind. We just got to put it behind us and go into the game against Ukraine, you know, with a strong mentality and try and get the win.
Aisling, please.
Yeah. Hi, Stephen. Aisling here from Off the Ball.
Hi.
It was a long trip to Armenia, home and back, not the result, as you said, or the performance that you would have wanted. It can't have been an easy few days, I suppose, to try and dust yourself off and to go again. Yeah,
it's a long trip, but it's longer when you lose, for sure. But I think it's listen, that's the nature of this game. You know, you get your kicks in the teeth, and you've got to dust yourself down quickly and get back and go again. And we don't have time to, you know. Obviously, we analysed the game. We looked. We debriefed. We did that. We moved on quickly. We're preparing for Ukraine. It's a completely different challenge tactically, and completely different. So we've got to switch on quickly and make sure we're ready, and get ready for tomorrow. It's a home crowd. Like, we've had the crowds have been, since the crowds have come back. You know, we'd full houses for Portugal and Belgium, and the amazing games, you know, great, brilliant games of football, and the crowd were tremendous, and so, you know, hopefully be more of that tomorrow night.
And were you surprised at all by the criticism after the game?
No, when you lose to Armenia, you have to accept criticism. No, I wasn't surprised at that, no.
Joe Caulfield, please.
Hi, Stephen. How are things? You had a fair amount of possession in that game against Armenia, but just failed to convert, although you did come close on a number of occasions. How would you like to rectify that and put scores on Ukraine tomorrow night?
Yeah, like, I don't think I can say look at the game against Armenia and say what we did wrong, and then if we rectify that, we get that right against Ukraine. Exactly, because it's different set of circumstances. But you know, we definitely listen. We had enough chances to win the game itself. Like, we couldn't. The first goal is obviously critical. We've seen that in Azerbaijan, getting an early goal and winning 3-0. Luxembourg getting a goal, winning 3-0. So we had chances to score, several chances in the first half. Obviously, they weren't as clear cut in the second half we wanted, but we still had chances. But we weren't creative enough in that last half hour, for sure. And you know, they defended well against us, and we only have ourselves to blame in that regard. But it's a game that we should have won and shouldn't have lost. And so Ukraine's a different challenge, 4-3-3, very attacking 4-3-3. They have the flexibility. They've played 3-4-2-1 as well. Even if they make changes, they've made changes right throughout the campaign. They've rotated their midfield. Shaparenko and Sidorchek have been played regularly for them, and really good players. And the 5 subs they brought on in the games the other day, they're very, very strong. So they have a lot of depth to Ukraine, and I think they showed in both games, particularly against Scotland. That's what we've seen in the other games, that they have a lot of quality.
You were at the under-21s game there last night. Will Smallbone in particular is a man who's catching the eye of late. Should he be keeping his phone on for a call-up?
Yeah, no, I must say he's had a tough time, Will, with unfortunate cruciate ligament injury and 1 or 2 other injuries and so forth. And I'd love to see him get a run of games, because he definitely was exceptional yesterday, and it was great to see that. And you know, it's great that he'll obviously go and play in Italy next week, and for the under-21s. But he definitely has a future with the senior international team, you would feel, if he continues in that vein of form.
Just one question from Gavin and Ed each, please, to end the live section, please.
Hi, Stephen. In terms of team selection, do you prioritise fresh legs or playing the guys who played in Armenia because they've built up some match fitness?
Not because they built up some match fitness. I don't think that's a factor. But I think, listen, we were on a good run of eight without winning some matches, winning numerous matches recently, and players are scoring goals. So you don't just because we've had a setback, and it is a setback, doesn't mean completely leave half your team out because of the setback. I think, you're right that we put freshness because maybe some players were not fully fit, having not played in 4 or 5 weeks going in, and then can they go again? So these are dilemmas, but we wouldn't expect wholesale changes. I think playing a match, I see your point. There's an advantage of playing a match someone that hasn't played should be that much sharper. The 4-day turnaround is not too drastic, as opposed to between Wednesday and Saturday will be more, although we had to travel in between. There can be a big difference between the 4 and the 3, and I think so I wouldn't say there'd be drastic changes after that.
Final one from Ed for the live.
Stephen, how are you doing? I just wonder, would you be able to reflect on the set piece return from the Armenia game in terms of variations of, and because we've seen creative set pieces come off before with the team. Is there going to be more variation for future games in that scenario?
I think we had a lot of forced contacts, and John Egan headed wide from a good position. Chio headed wide from a good position. Nathan Collins had a header straight into the goalkeeper's arm. Shane got his head on a couple as well. So we had a lot of forced contacts. We just maybe didn't direct them in the way that we wanted. And we had a higher number of forced contacts than most teams would have from our set pieces. We just couldn't score from them.
Okay, we're moving to the embargoed section. As everything from this point onwards is embargoed to